Hey there and happy Tuesday. So I hope you guys are all doing well. It was nice to get some gardening in yesterday. I was like, oh, maybe I can squeeze in a video and all that. But when you saw my picture of my tomatoes, you're probably like, yeah, who would have time to do anything? And a lot of the tomatoes are still sitting there. And I also was able to spend some quality time with a long time friend, stamping friend, just all kinds of friend piled in there. And Pam stopped by and she's on my team now. We've been stamping together for like 25 years, probably 30 years, because we were stamping before I even signed up to be a demonstrator. So put that into the 30-year category. She stopped on her way through and she just signed up to be on my team like last year. So I think that's kind of interesting because sometimes people are like, oh, could I do this or not? So it took her quite a while to go, maybe I should sign up to get my discount and get that kind of thing. So it was fun to spend time with her. And I have card number 3 for September here. And here we have, hi there, Lois, a very simple card. I'm going to see if you can see kind of that embossing folder that I have as like a subtle background there. I'm going with a simpler card today. Sometimes it's just nice to have like sympathy cards, thinking of you cards on hand. So today I wanted to go more simple because the last 2 cards I did, I worked with a Perfect Partners promotion, and with that some of those dies are a little bit more intense. Not really. The cute green monster was really fun, pretty quick and easy, and then the piggy had a little bit more to it. So today, like if you guys some of you say, oh, I try and copy along and make cards that you're making with things I have on hand. So if you're one of those people, you might be going, oh good, today is one of those days that I can just kind of slow down a little bit too. So let me get my camera turned around. Actually, I should try to show you my backyard too. It's looking pretty good. Let's see here. So in case you're wondering, like, yeah, if I didn't go, if you remember last week, that was a tunnel from my house to the backyard there for my new septic system. The guy is finishing that up. He doesn't know he's on my video. But my son that loves to mow my lawn, he will be like, oh my goodness, Mom, what did you do to me? So that's kind of what's happening here. But it's nice to have that project done. It's not going to be nice to get the bill if you've ever been through that. But things are looking up here. It's like one more thing to check off before fall harvest. Hi, Mary. Hi, Joyce. Thanks for joining in. So let me get my iPad sat down here and get on to making this great card for you. Okay, so you're on my mind and in my heart. So if you don't know already, Thursday there is a stamp set sale going on. So when I was thinking about what should I make today, I pulled out my annual catalog because you guys, every single stamp set in the annual catalog is going to be 15% off Thursday only. The only exclusions are those host sets in the back. But like say you went whole hog and ordered a whole bunch of stamp sets and your order got to $150, well, then you could always pick out these stamp sets for free with your host rewards. So wherever there's like an exception, I say that's an addition. So there we go. So in the annual catalog, I thought I'm going to choose a stamp set that's kind of a standalone. And on page 18, the Good Feelings is kind of a standalone set. There's no coordinating dies. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with it, as you can see on the samples there on page 18. But I'm just going to show you some simple embossing and some blending brushes using that kind of technique and kind of build into the, hey, there's a sale going on. So if this has been on your list, because I used that, the stamp set not too long ago. Another thing, if you got the hippos from Celebration that just ended, the Celebration hippos, this would be perfect with the hip, hip, hooray. You could add that to it. So instead of, oh, I should have looked, instead of paying $24 for that big set, then it would be 15% of that. I don't have that off the top of my head. I should have before I came to you, but I'll let you guys do the math, or if you wait till Thursday, you'll know. So wanted to show you too, before I start making the card, this really pretty, if you know me, fall is my favorite season. I want to show you this really pretty embossing folder. And I feel like it's kind of hidden. So in the mini catalog, as I was going along, I was like, I saw a couple samples and I'm like, where are they pulling that from? So here's the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder, and it's just kind of showing up here and not really, you know, showing anywhere until you get to the back, you know, where they show the other things back here, and it tells about it too. And I was like, oh, so glad that I saw that, because that is right up my alley. Hi there, Kay. Hi, Arlene. Thanks for joining in. So I wanted to bring that out and kind of add in a little subtle background for that today. And then this was a card that I received as a swap when I went to New Orleans. I love receiving the swap cards, and I thought, how fun. And I'm hoping that this shows up. It shows up a lot more in person, but just having nothing inked up on it, just that embossing folder on very vanilla, and that's just simple, gorgeous. I wanted to show you that, guys, in case I end up not copying that to show you guys. All right, so to do this, I am going to start with the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. My color combination today is strictly Cajun Craze and Crushed Curry. So I'm going to have my card opening up this long, like narrow way, this way. Hi there, Rosina. And so just sometimes I switch things up. Hey there, Tori, good to have you on here. And then I've cut the next layer 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to bring over my cut and emboss machine here, and then open up my folder here. So I kind of want, oh, how can I do this? I was going to emboss just the card, and I wasn't like in the mood to just finagle how to put the whole card front in. So I'm like, if I just cut this layer and emboss it, that works just fine. And then I want to kind of push it over to the side so that I get the most amount of the leaves where it's going to show for my card placement too. So I'm going to do that this way, and then the Stampin' Up is showing that direction on there. And because it's a 3D embossing folder, I just have my chunky plate and then this the specialty plate here. So we got that, and I'll run it through. I always kind of do a double take when I'm running my 3D embossing folders through, because they go through so smooth with the cut and emboss machine. Sometimes I'm like, is that really doing anything? But it is. And you can see with the 3D, it really gives nice grooves and edges. And the fun thing about 3D, some of the leaves like are layered on top of other leaves. So it's like you've got dimensions upon dimensions. So if you can't tell by now, I love this embossing folder. And if you are just joining in, it is the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder from the holiday catalog. All right, so I've got this. I'm just going to set that aside, and then my next piece here is cut. Oh, I forgot the dimension. I'm just going to check it here. Here we go. 3.75 by 2.75, and this is Crushed Curry. So I'm going to emboss on this. So before I do that, I'm going to get out my embossing buddy and just go over the top of this like so. And then take my Versamark pad and then take out the greeting, "You're on my mind and in my heart" from Good Feelings. Because it's a little bit bigger stamp, I'm going to ink it up this way, like so, and then just stamp this in the middle of my Crushed Curry piece, like so. And then I'm going to sprinkle my copper embossing powder. It's copper season. I feel like I don't use copper as much as my golds and silvers and whites and clears and such, but then all of a sudden when it turns fall, then I want to get out my copper. So I don't know if you can tell the difference between copper and gold. I always feel like I can see it more in my tray here, more so than on my cardstock, just because sometimes cardstock, depending on the color of the cardstock, can kind of skew results of different colors of inks and everything. So I'm just going to hold that with my tweezer. I love that some of you guys are getting the embossing additions toolkit. I hope you guys are really liking having like the embossing buddy in there, the tray, the tweezers, things like that. And I know some of you have asked if any of those pieces can be purchased separately, like the tray or the tweezers or the embossing buddy and such. And right now, that is a no. So it's kind of like you have to buy the whole kit to get everything, and it only comes as an everything type of toolkit. But I'm pretty sure Let's Stampin' Up! Know that would be kind of fun to sell things individually. So I don't know if it's one of those things like, yeah, we'll see how it goes in the holiday catalog, and then maybe in the next kind of production that we put out, maybe do something separate. I don't know. So, but it never hurts to ask them, because they don't know what we want until we tell them, right? Okay, so now I've got this all ready, and before I do any layering, hi there, Amy. It was fun to chat with you earlier today. And now I'm going to get out my ink pads here. I'm going to start with crushed curry, and I'm going to get some crushed curry ink on top of my crushed curry cardstock. Now this might surprise you, but this is crushed curry on top of crushed curry. So you can see how light it started out, and I like to compare before I do it, because I kind of did a double take, like, am I using the right ink pad? But there again, sometimes just the way it sets up on the same color, it can turn out kind of interesting. So I'm going to get out a blending brush and just take this and swirl this around my my ink pad, and then I'm going to start off my scratch paper and then just start kind of blending across the edge. And then I'll kind of do that same thing, give it like a quarter turn, and then kind of just start blending around that edge too. And so I'm just adding crushed curry ink on top of crushed curry cardstock. I just kind of have one more line up here to kind of fill in. So kind of want to make it nice and dark around the edges like so, and then kind of leaving that bright spot right in the middle as kind of the highlight there. So, oh, right back at you, Amy. Love it. Okay, so I've got that as our focal point, and then I'm going to switch blending brushes and also ink pads. Now I'm going to switch to Cajun Craze, which for some of my fall friends, these are your two favorite colors, and you can't wait for fall because you know that it means I'm going to use these colors. So it almost looks like maybe Cajun Craze was used on this because of the darkness, but I also have to show you my little scratch piece of paper that I had underneath here, and it looks very crushed curry. So that's kind of interesting too. And now with a different blending brush, I'm going to use that same technique, and I'm just going to kind of go over the leaves, keeping in mind this is going to go on top, so I really don't have to do much with the areas there. And I just kind of want to, I always call it like warm up the edges. So, ooh, that kind of got dark. Don't like that. Yeah, that'll get covered up. That's good. Do you ever do something on a card and go, oh, hooray, that's going to be covered up? I wish I could do that with more things of mine sometimes before I start over. I think I just pushed too hard because I'm putting a dark color on a dark color, and I didn't start off to my side with it right away. I just started pushing. So now we know what not to do. So I'm just kind of going around those edges, and you can see where it gets darker there. So that's the part that I just blopped on a whole bunch of colors. So that's kind of funny. So yeah, so Mary has a good point. I'm surprised you do the blending brushes after you emboss. So that's the fun thing about embossing. After you emboss, it just takes like 30 seconds maybe for that to set up, like and cool down. So even though that heat tool is like really heating that up and it's going to get it sticky, and that's the whole point, it only takes like seconds. And you could see that my next step was doing that. So that part dries. And then when I add embellishments, I'll talk a little bit about what really stays wet sometimes is the ink that I've added with the blending brushes. And you really have to make sure that you're pushing your embellishments onto your cardstock really well, because sometimes that can just seem to be a little bit wetter than what a person would think. So yeah, so we've just got like this extra now going on with that to warm it up. And the reason why I wanted to put this a little bit besides highlighting the leaves is so that when I put it on my base that is also Cajun Craze, it just gives it a little bit more of warmth around the edges and a little bit more pop. So I'm going to go ahead and add this just with adhesive onto there. Like I said, I'm kind of just going with a simpler card today, but just still making it look extra special with a few extra steps. And then now this is ready to go on with some dimensionals. So I'm just going to flip this over and put dimensionals in each corner like so. And take off the sticky stickers and throw those in my little trash, and then one more in the middle. And then sometimes I'm like, do I go right complete center? Do I want to go off center? Today I think I want to go more middle to cover up that little bit of area that got heavy on the ink. This one I feel like I offset it just a little bit more towards that edge, so you can see the difference. This one is centered, and for my OCD friends, you might go, oh, thank you for centering that like that. Like this was just enough off that it might have went, but I wanted to show more of the pretty leaves by doing it that way. Yep, and I just want to make sure that it's not crooked. All right, so we've got that. And then, like I said, now I'm going to come with these embellishments, the rustic metallic adhesive back dots. And when it comes to fall things too, that's when I love working like with the metallics and different things that are the rustic look. And let me get my take your pick tool. I'm going to go with these bigger. There's two sizes, smaller and larger. They're all self-adhesive, so I'm just going to stick the larger there. And then, actually, yeah, I'm going to go large on the other side too. I think it's kind of like the pattern's chunky, the words are big, so I kind of want to go big embellishments on that too. But this is where adding that extra ink along the edges, I really give a firm press to get to those embellishments in the corner there like so. Now when it comes to the inside of my card, I was like, okay, I haven't used white, I haven't used vanilla. I'd probably go, this is more of a vanilla type card, so maybe I should put an inside of vanilla. And I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm actually going to do crushed curry, because if you write on crushed curry, it's a light enough color that that is going to make your writing show up really easy. So I'm just going to take that card away, go and bring out my crushed curry ink pad again and that blending brush with that, and just kind of go along these edges to warm that up. And that way it'll kind of coordinate the inside of the card to the outside where we did that same technique. Not going to go really overboard, but I want to make a statement to let people know that I actually took the time to do that. Sometimes if it's too subtle, it's like, why bother? But sometimes there can be overkill. So hopefully the camera kind of picks that up, and maybe it will more after I've actually put it inside my card. And because it's an like a you're on my mind, thinking of you type card, I'm not going to put any kind of sentiment on the inside. I'm just going to warm up those edges like I did, because this could be a great card to send to somebody that's going through some type of struggle, or it could be a sympathy card if you wanted it to be. Another thing that I really appreciate about a card like this and working with fall and neutral colors is this could be a great guy masculine card too. So if you knew of a guy that even had like a birthday or something, you could do a big birthday, or you're on my mind and in my heart, and put happy birthday in the inside too. So it doesn't limit it when we get to the fall colors, which I really, really like to work with too, if you know me very well at all. So that is today's card. Hi there, Julie. Julie, you just popped on. I'm just finishing my card here. And so that is card number 3. So if you've kind of been, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Okay, so if you've been following along at all this month, I cannot believe how far into the month we are already. This is card number 3. I'd like to do at least 8, if not 10 demonstrations, but I never know how much time I have once the guys say, hey, it's harvest and it's harvest now. Oh yeah, Tabitha, I love adding those gold leaves. There's some holly leaves that are gold in the catalog too. That would be a great addition. Just add another really pretty pop. Love it. Okay. So my gift to you guys this month, and especially keep that in mind Thursday, if you order and use my special host code for the month, if your order is $75 or more, you'll get a whole 8-pack of the cards that I'm doing this month as a thank you for ordering. And if you don't quite reach that, you'll still get some cards from me, maybe not as many. Or if you really go overboard and want to place your own order that's $150 or more and get your own rewards, I'll still send you some cards too. So you'll benefit from your own host rewards that you pick out. You don't use my host code because you're the one using the rewards. I'll send you some cards that way. So if you have any questions about the stamp set sale coming Thursday, and if you're just joining in, all stamp sets from the annual catalog, 15% off all day Thursday. The only exclusions are the hostess sets in the back. How fun is that? And I'll let you know on a little secret, because in the past people went, I don't know, I've always wanted this bundle, but if I'm only getting the stamp set at 15% savings, is that a cool thing? In the past, and I have no crystal ball, and so I shouldn't be saying this, but in the past, Stampin' Up! About a month down the road has had a sale where they have dies too, and I've noticed that that kind of can complement each other too. So I'm kind of looking at stamp sets in a different way, like, oh, if I like that bundle, maybe I'll get the stamp set for now and see if in the next month or so there's a sale on the dies that coordinate too. So I don't know, it might be worth it, the risk or the gamble too, if that's something you want. So I'm gonna go post the live shot of this card with my host code and all the information about what I used to make it. If you have questions, always let me know, because I love helping you guys out with your questions, and you always have such good ones too. So take care, have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon with card number 4. Bye-bye.